Hello, this is Michael from Blue Gem Tarot. Today's episode pick a card reading is going to be called Good News Coming Your Way. This reading will contain subdivisions. First one is going to be the identification / validation bit where you can see if this resonates with you. Second is going to be about unbelievable or unbelievable information, and also the plot twist. Pile number 1, a black box with a yellow ribbon, pile number 2 with a heart-shaped ceramic box, and pile number 3 with a metal box. Take your time, pick your pile, see if it resonates. If it doesn't, leave. If it doesn't, maybe this is not your reading. If you find that selective information still applies, or if you want to still stay, that's okay. The timestamps you'll find in the description section and the comment section. Okay, let's begin with pile number 1. As usual, central card of the reading really tells me a little bit about you or your situation or the core of the reading and what's it all about. This is going to be good news in relationship to mostly about you, about the inner world, okay? Because we have longing for home, belonging, the original light workers. Yeah, the sunlight really did wash away the last word. Those of you dealing with confusion, those of you dealing with lack of purpose or lack of direction or lack of individuality or feeling as though life floats away. This is going to be a powerful connection to self and a powerful connection to who you are. I can already pick up the fact that from the identification you can see yourself as a person who has a lot of potential and a lot of, let's just say, diverse and specific routes of evolving and developing oneself. But life feels like it's charting either like against it or against you or against that individuality, okay? What I love about your reading is the fact that the good news in here is about stepping out of that and into a more empowered, self-directed type of living. And I can see that from a plum. I can see that from the joy, I can see that from the sun card. It's a lot of, let's just say, the identification in your part is going to be, in your case, is going to be about a life that's not fully yours. Or if you feel like, you're not living, maybe it's a comfortable life, but it's not what you're looking for, or it's actually boring, or you're feeling like it doesn't make sense, it doesn't align with who you are, okay? This strongly will resonate with that kind of concept. I see you I see two things, and I love that this is very actually realistic and relatable, because with 10 of Wands and this depiction, it shows a person who's very busy. However, because we have the overabundance of joy in here, and with a plum specifically, it will make you feel really happy type of busy, It's going to be busy but meaningful type of busy. It could be meaningful, it could be quality work. It could be something about you really acting out of passion, not out of not feeling burdened by the responsibilities. With Emperor, this could be also like will and self-directed. First of all, it could be also confidence and also directed action, with you having the validation and the confidence from the self. With Hierophant in reverse, I can say maybe, and also calming. I cannot say this is like going to be quite the most standard or bulletproof, like this is going to be the exterior opinion. But with a plum, I can say in here, you're going to be quite successful at it simply because you live it, okay? This is going to be a lived philosophy. with the Ten of Wands, it's as if you don't have all the puzzle pieces, or you don't have all the answers. But with Longing for Home, this will feel like it's actually the right direction. And the original light workers, this makes me feel like you can come in touch with a sense of purpose, a sense of passion. We have in here also Shan Ling. Because I'm also very connected to that game, and I love introducing aspects from the characters from inside the game, I want to say to you, this is a very passionate person about cooking. So all that really comes from the sense of being passionate, loving your craft, loving what you do. Definitely reminds me of that character. And maybe a fraction of you will resonate also with the idea of culinary arts, but not all of them. I don't feel like this is quite the, let's just say, general message. But I want to say this is just, it's fascinating because it's a very realistic slash like on edge type of message. It says that you could be coming up with maybe a business idea, maybe some of you will be coming up with a plan of action or something like this. It will feel rocky, but it could feel like logically challenging, okay? But what's very good, like as a good news type of scenario in here, it will make you feel like you are first of all alive and that you're pursuing something that you're really happy about. Maybe also for those of you who are like rooted already in something, it will make you feel more busy, but also much more on track with who you are. And I also want to say with Emperor that this will actually feel or give you some sort of public recognition, or also with Hierophant, as I'm reminded of this one, like hidden talent, or for some reason I just see you like being recognized for being in a domain of work that's, let's just say, very rigid, and you coming up with something new, something that's genius, and something that's very productive slash successful. And with Joy, it's not going to be the story where you're doing it out of like, I have to be successful. It really feels meaningful. And what I love about this deck with the 10 of wands, it's really showing a person who's dealing with multiple things at once, but being quite confident and unwavering in that way. And yeah, it's I would generally say that this is a very driven driven pile. It makes me feel like you are encountering, or you're about to encounter some energy of passion, a lot of energy, a lot of fire. I see orange, I see red, I see yellow, more so orange in here, and the red will play itself out maybe from the cards, from the colors of the cards. But yeah, what I also want to add, it's like a sort of a transition. Like this is also going to resonate with you if you'll feel like, if you are feeling like you're on the in the transition mode, or if you are feeling like, I'm done with what was, okay? Because I can see a lot of disturbance in here, but it's that kind of disturbance that really plays in your favor. So I'm not sure if this is like, sometimes there are endings that you can see are very good beginnings, or like are original slash are coming with an original intent to reestablish some sort of order. So this is definitely going to ring some bells for pile number 1. But we have also in here the black shuck. This is going to be the death card, and the green mother with the empress, the lovers in reverse. Definitely what I can also pick up on, it's the fact that there are going to be some people or some instances where you'll feel like, is that even the right thing to do? But you'll have your inner compass, or the feeling that this is actually going in the right direction. This is like, when you have a situation where logically you're feeling called to do something, but emotionally it doesn't feel right, or you feel like you're being called strongly in a different direction, even if it feels kind of risky but also exciting. And I also want to say that you can be encountering a lot of excitement on your way because of it, and at times this excitement can even override the logical bit, because with calming in reverse in here, with Sino in reverse in here too, it makes me feel like you could be a bit agitated, you could be a bit maybe not sure, but all of this seems to be drowning in that fire of passion that I really love, and makes me feel like in the core of it, it's really something beneficial not only to yourself, because you'll live it as something that really makes you feel happy, with Mitakan, the essential card, but also something that will hugely benefit the people you are going to be around. And I can also pick up on some sort of information that you're going to be quite the inspiration for people. I want to say, however, in advance, what is a bit unbelievable in here, or what I love about this category, is with this Black Shark, there is literally unbelievable in the logic or the mechanic of things. It's as if you start with one energy. It could be like a bit of a risk taker person in here. It could be a little like, even for the regular person, risky, or it could be like, I'm not sure about this. Like, maybe you can have this emotional pull, which is going to be also called by many spiritual, or it could be literally a calling in here. For you, it will make 1000%, it will make sense. For people, they will look at it as like this black shock type of energy, which will make them feel unnerved, or some of them will even question or think to themselves that maybe you are a bit delusional, maybe you're not quite in your right mind. I do see that, and I have to mention it because it's very real what I see in here. But with justice in here, I want to say the intention that you will carry, the intention to be passionate slash also helping, or something that really makes you like awaken in that spark. And it's something that's very close to home, or something that's like with longing for home. It's like pure unfiltered expression or activity that really makes your heart beat. Like that's exactly what I see, and something that you will be praised for, something that you feel is right for you. And I'm actually like looking at the timer, and it's like 11:11. I hate like really that cliche stuff, but I also do guide myself because I see a lot of synchronicities and mirror numbers or repeated numbers, and yeah, lately it has been quite the confirmation for me too. They're like unbelievable. As I'm looking at all of this, it's a rearrangement. It's like a period of, or maybe some circumstances again, shifting in such a way that you have to be literally just connected to your vision. And it doesn't have to be the case where it's rocky. No, I want to say it's like I see a lot of clearing, like a lot of cleansing, clearing, a lot of eye-opening insights or situations that will bring about those. And for those of you who are like, I don't want issues with that, it doesn't have to be that dramatic in general. The changes in here can be on a spectrum, but it's like it can resonate with also a fear of the unknown. It can resonate with the feeling of, I don't know what's happening with calming. It's like I cannot see a clear direction, or I cannot control everything. You can also quite encounter that. Some of you could be actually very connected, actually I would say attached to the feeling of control in your life. That's completely okay, because I tend to be like this too. But the best things in my life, not always like the best, but let's just say a lot of them came unexpected, so you can be also guided by that. Remain connected to your original intention, remain connected to your original happy, pure intention. The rest and how it gets molded, changed, and reorganized really is not our concern. But believe with justice in here, believe that you're not going to be left in the dark, because you're not, okay? I cannot give you the image that I see, because with plot twist and unbelievable in here, what fires up, it's a sense of I cannot believe how at home I feel. I cannot believe that it's actually me. It's actually me. It's like I cannot believe that I've been living my life like this almost like not connected or not very much in tune with who you are. This could be a transition, a job transition. This could be a change of mindset, beliefs, literally anything it could be. But for you, it's like a blessing in disguise where, I feel the excitement, but it doesn't make sense. Okay? That's how you're going to more or less find yourself in the reading. It's like having a North Star also is what came to mind, and also like strongly an image came from a personal experience where you could be literally going into a frenzy, or not necessarily a frenzy, but you can spiral if you think about some situations and how they could have panned out not in your favor. But if you have like faith and you have a vision, then you can more or less believe in what you can do in accordance with that in the present moment. It doesn't have to be a bad situation or whatever, but North Star and faith in something that really feels connected to your heart in this case. Looking back at this central card, what's unbelievable is something that you cannot fathom or comprehend, from the lines of you have no idea how easily some mountains and some things that you would consider to be immovable can actually move, not only swiftly, but in ways in which you cannot imagine. And also, what's unbelievable, that it's actually in your favor. I don't know why this is unbelievable to you, but it's making me feel like it's not as complicated so long as you have that very powerful vision. I don't know, that's for someone maybe maybe not, but that's what I can see, that's for sure. And you're not meant to live your life in the back seat, okay? Whatever that means for you, but I feel like you are having the energy of the main character, and you feel to me like you are a very gifted person. Not because I really like saying that for no reason, but because looking at this 10 of Wands, this is showing me a person who's capable of activating or really leading a very fulfilling / active life that doesn't make them feel like they have to be in the shadows. Maybe if you do enjoy that, it's okay. But with joy in here, I genuinely see people appreciating you because you have that essence, or you have that, let's just say, belonging or ability to fit in, and not because you have beautiful eyes or something like this. Not saying that you don't, but it's like substantial, real. There is realness in your value. There is like, it's not shallow. Maybe it's not. I tried to accommodate the phrase that I tried to translate from Romanian, Romania. Yeah, that's so funny. But it's not, or from Russian actually. But it's not the case where you have to fit in, or you have to receive praise because you are one thing only, or because no, it's much greater than that. Okay. I see from the validational standpoint a need to feel recognized, but I cannot feel free. I cannot give you the feeling, because you have to naturally or organically actually go about doing that, because I feel like you deserve to be seen, and you have the potential to be adored in here, and it's not that hard, it's not that like complicated, like it's in your, like it flows into your veins, like that's how it feels to me, like you naturally deserve that. And I see this line, reminds me of Leo energy, like people who really love the attention. But I can see in here a very familiar, and I love that this really talks about my subscribers, a very familiar masterful / mastery aspect that's intertwined with destiny and intertwined with innate excellence and purpose, vision. I see a lot of doubt in here that could have, let's just say, clouded things. With this devil in reverse, it's like, maybe it could be also like, this like the story when the person doesn't fit in, but because of their excellence, okay, because of and I don't like this power play, but it makes me feel like genuinely you did not I do believe, like, from Xiao, this is like the Yaksha's story, and how this all relates to the idea that they did run their whole like quest and ideology in a team like setup. So in reverse, this does remain a mystery in a way. Like, of course, that's like my assumption, but it like makes me feel like generally like you miss your team. You miss like a very close circle of individuals who are going to be um, mirroring to you, and it could be as simple as, like, people who get me. Like, it's going to be like that. And from Lovers in Reverse, this genuinely makes me feel like you might be in a phase of loneliness, or feeling isolated, or feeling as though you're not fitting in, or you're not necessarily feeling like this is the belonging bit. But I want to say the good news in here is going to come crashing with the idea that activity will draw people in, and also activity will make you feel recognized, and along those things there is going to be a side to a moment of feeling like you are being validated and seen by the right people. And I love that for you, because it really shows a road that's not necessarily easy. It feels like it's rocky, but it's filled with so much passion and so much inspiration, that actually all those positive things drown out the doubt and the need to control the things. And you'll find that you can step with faith in things that do not need the actual reassurance and do not need the control, but still you'll feel guided. So that's I love that it's very realistic. I don't know. This makes me feel like, it's very case specific, and also somehow very relevant to a lot of people that will find this reading. And I love this because it feels like it's going to hit like home. I don't know, for some reason it does make me feel like it's going to be about this. And also specifically that I did draw upon my own experience when I was talking about the things that I did in here, and that it feels like it's very hopeful, and it's not as chaotic, or it's not as confusing, or it's not as hard as maybe it can literally feel like this. And that's okay. That's all right. Everyone has their bad days, and that's all right to feel like everything is not as like figured out as I or we would like them to be, and still have a sort of a direction in life. So either you'll be discovering that, you're going to be feeling connected to that, or you will literally live it or walk in it with so much ease. That's kind of it, pile number 1. I hope it resonated. If it did, don't forget to comment below, leave a like, subscribe to my channel, make sure to check out the other videos on the channel too. Thank you so much for watching. You'll find the links for the donations if you want in the comment section and the description section. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to hear from you in the future readings. Take care. Okay, pile number 2, welcome to your reading. This one is very strange in its logic, to be quite honest with you, and it was giving me quite a hard time. To start with, I want to talk about the theme in here. First off, we have the central card, the crumbling. What are you clinging on to? How I interpreted this in the context of the good news that you're going to receive. This is very convoluted. I'll try to summarize or explain it to you. There is such a thing as an accumulation phase, or accumulation in general. That's like, it gets like darkest before like sunrise, something like this. There is accumulation in here also coming from one particular character that I was looking at from the card, and this is not what you expect. Okay, this while you could resonate with several experiences of disappointment and also a sense of betrayal, and it could be even linked to the sense of betrayal either from God, from universe, from situations, from people. But there is some sort of bitterness in here, or betrayal, or a sense of loneliness slash abandonment, stuff like that. What is also very a bit also on edge, unbelievable. It's the fact that you may be not very like eager, or in comparison to the other energies I encountered, you may be a little less optimistic. That's how you're going to find your imprint, if it's your reading or not. But what I see in here is a great deal of, let's just say, structure and order based on resistance or based on strength that was drawn upon from the experiences of distress that you must have gone through. And when I say accumulation phase, because I see in here ascension, I see in here movement movement forward, open to life in reverse. There is a great deal of being closed off, but hear me out. There is a silver lining. It's not like, a silver lining classical situation, but it's very, let's just say, distinct. I resonate with this in the sense that before something great, for some reason, like there was a purge in my life. mm, that's how this pile feels. And to be quite honest or fair with you, it's like this is either you could be calling forth a lot of evolution of self, because also transformation or the death card. So the good news in here is like, first of all, there is going to be this accumulation phase where some things could feel unstable, but there are many things that will be revealed to you as being lucky, or as being actually extremely lucky. And I was also reviewing a message of selection phase for pile number 2. So being the case where we have the given the case that we have the Queen of Wands and the Queen of Cups in reverse, this is making me feel like you're not meant to settle right now. And the good news is like, pick and accumulate from experience that which you want to have, but don't settle for it. So you could meet people that you can review some character traits from. You could have high hopes, but it doesn't like somehow pan out. Like this has to be your experience. There is some sort of like, from the identification phase or from the identification slash validation, it's all making, I want to say to you that it's all making huge sense in the long run, and there is a lot of like desire to make it known to you that you shouldn't fall in despair. Like that's how it feels. And with crumbling, it's like eventually you will reach that point of stability or that point of clearance that will make you feel proud of what you went through. And actually, you will kind of also feel a degree of honor, clarity, and gratitude for the lesson, not necessarily for the experience, however. I'm picking up on some sort of reset. I hear reset button or endings or changes that relate to like almost like abrupt situations coming to a halt or to an end. And this is a huge good news from the standpoint where you wanted clearance, you wanted change, you wanted something new. This is definitely coming through, but hear me out. This is like a very convoluted type of good news. So it's like, you want something else, like you have to somehow like go through the actual liberation from what was. So I do not like, I want to say the reward versus the journey mindset in here could be a little rocky, or could be a little strange or unpleasant or very bitter somehow. Maybe you could be a very sensitive person, or you could be called like a very sensitive person, and you could take things really personally. But like I keep hearing the reward for this really, really is worth it. Okay, so I don't feel like you are going to be given everything on a silver or like golden platter, whatever. However, the essence of it is like you are going to be spoiled, but it's like in the long run. This is like, the story or the case where the vast majority of people will enter a field and will have a very, like, let's just say, naive or general knowledge of the thing, and it could literally for some of you be money, for example, but in your case you had to like almost like go through tides and situations in life where it definitely was challenging, but it's like you refine yourself as a result of it. So it's like a lot of intensity, a lot of reorganization, resetting, and all of this somehow I feel like it makes you proud. Okay, it like makes you proud as a person in the long run. So good news in here is like almost like fated encounters with liberation from situations that ultimately not only make you stronger but make you very defined and refined in a way that you really stand out. So it's like this is classically giving me the sense of like a person, for example, who thought they knew something and they were straight, like headed straight into an issue where, or a situation where they were proven otherwise. And it could be a story of life for you. If not, if that doesn't resonate, maybe this is not your reading, but I can see in here a heavy struggle and a sense of, I'm used to it. Like I'm used to it, and I kind of feel like a degree of pride or again mastery, similarly to something I experienced in other piles in other readings. But this is coming through as like, the challenges you go through are very, very somehow structured in your favor in the long run. So you can literally have a very rare experience of mastery as a result of the things that you have to progressively endure or progressively like go through. I don't feel like, by the way, specific information and very powerful one at that, and fascinating too. I don't feel like you are the type of person to go through a situation and break. And I don't feel like also this is very random, okay? This is very almost like it feels like it's very fated for you to know or on point that you are being given such things to go through, not because you are being humiliated, but because the resistance or the mechanic of, let's just say, integration or endurance or evolution in your case really allows you to leap, really leap very far. And it's like the greater the leap, the greater the responsibility, and like the armor, the tougher the armor becomes. So to me, that's very telling that this is like giving me a warrior type of person. And definitely like the metaphor with the crab that outgrows their shell and leaves it. And because they grow at a very like, they have a rate at which they grow, but this growth breaks the previous shell, and yeah, you can tell that this is kind of uncomfortable. So I would say that the good news in here is like the acknowledgement or the realization that you're not going mad, you're not going insane, you're not falling behind, I heard. And I also heard that you're not meant to be constantly disappointed, but you kind of leave a trail behind. Like you leave a trail in a way, like it's for yourself, but you evolve because we have, and thus we have this transformation card. To be honest with you, this is like a gradual refinement of sorts. There are natural gems and there are synthetically created gems. Okay, so in your case, it's like a natural progression. I don't know. This is exactly, well, I see that usually in people who have a very defined purpose or a very defined use for that kind of experience. So I wouldn't be surprised if you could potentially be a breakthrough, like a very innovative slash um, expanding or breaking through the line of the threshold of what has already been studied or known. So yeah, but it definitely comes at a cost, at like it really costs you your It makes me feel like sanity for some reason. But what I want to say also from Unbelievable, like you have a lot of awareness from people about who you are as an essence. So to be honest with you, you kind of also a bit feel alien, but it's in the best way possible. So it's like you have developed some sort of character traits that make you stand out in the best way possible. So it's like a person going through very like crisis situations involving, for example, let's just say anger. They don't end up being an angry person, but they end up being as an assertive person as a result of it. So that's how it feels to me in life, how you step through the things that you do. And it does make me feel like you don't expect, you don't know, you don't quite understand or realize how much appreciation and reverence comes through for this one. It's like reverence and almost like alien perception of how are they doing it. I don't understand how they're doing it. So vaguely borderline like alien. It feels to me like this is like for people, it's like wildly professional, wildly, it's not even professional, like skilled. How, like, you could be a person who has insights in a domain or like a life, um, or you could have some skill awareness that literally supersedes professionals, and that can be scary, okay? Like, for people, I want to say it's like there is a whole vast social mystery. mm, there is lack of logic in here. I cannot explain it to you, but there is a huge sense of uncharted, unknown, unreadable, unexpected, also unreadable. It's not it's not listening to logic. People look at you and they do not understand how this is possible. Genuinely, it feels like some sort of, I don't know, magic. It feels like it's not logical. You have access to something that's not logical, but it feels like it's good, okay? So good news in here is like the essence or the silver lining of sorts. Um, the plot twist in here lies in the sheer lack of awareness, and it's understandable over like the experience of what you went through, or this is exactly when it's like a person who's genius, but they are being covered by a negative emotion of sorts because either they feel upset or because they, I don't know, maybe they didn't sleep well. I give you just a metaphor, but it makes me feel like you are fighting a battle that feels like it's you and the battle, and you don't see the other people. I feel like you are seeing yourself as a warrior, while the people also, they at the same time look at you and they see something that's otherworldly. That's how it feels to me, at least. It's as if we have a very strange, like from the identification, this is very strange. I feel like you are looking at what is not yet there, or you're looking at these scars, whereas people see them as like honorable things that you endured, or like they almost like feel proud for you, or they feel like they would want to live that kind of life, the results of it. Genuinely, I want to say it's like for some reason the experiences that you had to go through, they made you like a terminator, okay, in the best ways possible, and very knowledgeable, very the fascination in here about this pile for me personally lies in the fact that there is a lot of error. There is a lot of like error in a system that, functions on some sort of predefined logic that's not like in alignment with the individual, not in the alignment with making the person thrive. But for you, it's like the deeper the pain went, the more it has revealed of you. Like it revealed more about you to the surface, and it gave you a more powerful presence into the world. And I want to say, like, the plot twist in here also lies in sheer, like, fascination, appreciation, and, like, a lot of it. It's very close to reverence, but it's, like, not necessarily reverent in the sense that they revere you, but they revere some sort of trait that you do have. And there is a genuine lack of understanding when it comes to you, but they feel like they are pulled in, or that they want to be like this even if they cannot fully comprehend it. So I don't know, perhaps particularly if this is going to be good news in the short run, but I mean, it's not sticking to that kind of plan. But what I want to say in here is, like, if anything, your pile doesn't feel like it's accidental, or it doesn't feel like, the things really can have the effect of defining who you are, because you have a lot of people proud not only of you, but of the fact that you participate or participated in their life. So this also carries some sort of ancient feeling to it. So this pile feels legendary for some reason, and, like, almost something about you is beautifully, like, beyond human, but it's not like in an eerie way, or it's not like made to look like or to be interpreted as like something that's wrong, but it feels like you could be like a lighthouse in a world of chaos, or something about you like being very, it's like some conditions are not very conducive to life, and somehow something sacred in that space still survived, and it thrived, and it did. It still does. That's how your energy feels, and somehow, like, they never crumbled, or you may have crumbled inside many times. Maybe you must have gone through like some sort of like moments of doubt or whatever. From exterior, people never like doubted you, or they felt like they were proud to be by your side. Something like this comes through. So there are definitely some sort of stories in regards to speculation and talking about you, in the sense that, yeah, I know that they are human. I know and I love them for who they are, but I cannot figure them out. I cannot understand them. I cannot feel, see, or comprehend the full logic of who they are. And I feel like this is both, like, in a smaller percentage, like haunting them, but in the greater percentage, it makes them, it's making people feel like they are reading you like a book, and they feel like they are eager to know and to get to know you better. That's how it feels. Long-term rewards and long-term reaping of those rewards and, like, effects is definitely in place for pile number two. Yeah, I think that's kind of it. But to be honest with you, I was like struggling with the amount of reversed cards in your reading, but I was like, we'll keep pushing, because there has to be something in there that's not just about some awkward card in reverse. So, yeah, that's kind of it, pile number two. I hope it resonated. If it did, don't forget to comment below, like the video, check the other videos on the channel, subscribe. Also, if you want to donate, you have the links in the comment section and the description section. Thank you so much for watching once again, and I hope to hear from you in the future readings. Take care. Okay, pile number three, as usual, never ceases to amaze me. But yeah, judging from what was said from pile number two, I was like, okay, everything is overwhelmingly colorful. Anyway, we have Starseed in the center of the reading. What lights you up? I was looking at this card and I was like, um, there is a series of events, situations, moods, circumstances, or even atmosphere in the air that will make you feel very, very, very happy, very light, very connected. Those of you connected to the divine, to cosmos, to universe, you will definitely love this, because also this in proximity to Two of Cups and also the Magician card, this is talking about good news in relationship to connectivity and to a feeling of gratitude for being alive. With light, what lights you up, this is making me feel like this is a very good chance in life to experience what's like to not depend on happiness that's exterior, but that's coming from inside of you. So there is like such a thing as a state of fulfillment, happiness, like that's what I see coming through. Or it can be about something that you employ, or it's as a result of a connection. This could be a person, this could be God, this could be universe, something that genuinely gives you hope, inspires you, and really makes you feel happy and full of light, just as this card shows. I want to say, as an identification for this card, for this collective in here, for pile number three, you're definitely not like a person who's entangled with earthly desires and whatsoever. This pile feels really, really um, pure, innocent, and most of all, very ethereal slash spiritual. Um, this feels like it's not a materialistic. If anything, this feels like it could be an idealistic pile type of people. So, given that we have also the Ace of Cups, but I was strongly feeling from this card as an offer, uh, you can expect a person to come out, to come to you, to express something to you. This could be both seemingly direct and indirect at the same time, but it's undeniable. I want to say it feels like it's going to be very obvious to you. So if you are on the spectrum of looking for some sort of message of confirmation in regards to love or about a person, this is strongly suggesting that we do have in here very good news in relationship to a person stepping up and contacting you. Or maybe it can be about contacting you, it can be about that, but it also so happens that it's going to be obvious that the person actually likes you or loves you or something like this. um I simply adore. Okay, seems I was like talking to myself a minute or two. Okay, never mind, I do that. I didn't record, hopefully it does. For now, I adore that I see in here a lot of light, a surge of both emotional and physical well-being. This is radiating from, first of all, of course, the central card, but also the sun card, sunlight. This is good news, and I love the quality of it because this is a state. This is genuinely a state. This is like, I don't understand why I feel so happy, but I do. This is psychologically a state, or spiritually, let's just say, frequency wise, this is a high frequency or something that secures a very positive and hopeful outcome or connection or series of events. So, if you were invested in that, congratulations, because what's also strongly like psychologically coming through, it's with this seven of spells, seven of wands classically talks about a person who's defending themselves. Well, what is very fascinating to me in this reading for you is the fact that it's being surrounded by very positive cards, and I feel like this dragon in here is definitely some sort of like a mirror of you. I feel like your happiness, your bliss in here, it's going to be very apparent. It's going to make you feel invulnerable emotionally. And I feel like a lot of people that you were previously scared of, afraid of, or feeling like inferior almost, some of you, or like you had to comply to them, because of that radiance of joy, it feels like these people will feel intimidated or they will feel like they cannot outmatch your energy. Okay? There is a sense of, okay, this is very vague. I don't like these messages as much, but it's like what I see. We have Six of Visions. That's the past card. That's the friendship card. There is a sense of immense psychological and spiritual progression in relationship to your image, how you see yourself, how the world sees you in return, and a greater level of like all-encompassing inclusivity, if that's a word that's even out there. I no longer feel like you are going to feel okay or resonate with the idea of holding back, being humble, being submissive, or like a people pleaser. Because of this Nine of Fire, it's as if you were asking for permission in the past, or it's as if you needed the validation. I feel like strongly not only you are relinquishing this feeling or need for validation, you're going to have other people who you thought you depended on asking you for help or asking you for your validation. That's how it feels. Um, there is this collective sense of stepping out of this energy of feeling less or feeling like you constantly have to prove yourself. I cannot pinpoint down for you what this good news can be because I don't see it pinpointed by the reading itself. But what I want to say is like the message in here, it's to set you up for like what's more important in this case is to allow you to understand that this is like a portal that connects you to the good news in a way. But definitely partnership for some of you is like you can have a series of events or situations really panning in your favor, and by default almost like automatically even having the person on your side that you really wanted, and it came as a byproduct. And generally this pile, very similar to what I just saw in another pile, is this idea that you really had to go on a journey or a quest when actually the proof is in the pudding. Like that's how it wants to relate the message. It's as if you don't you never needed to prove anything. You were lovable from the start. And I feel like you have the proof of that is going to be the fact that you had always the inner essence and the qualities and the like receptors for that love. Maybe you were not quite as aware of it, but I don't know. This is powerfully surging through with this sun card. This is a connection of sorts that feels like it's either ageless or it's not, similarly to another pile, strangely, not coming from this earth. This feels like definitely very similar to like a connection to God or something. But I want to say it's as if in the past you must have had a situation or you must have felt a lot of powerlessness. You must have had situations where you felt like you were either, or people made you feel like you were useless. I don't, it's like not, you were not useless, but the situation really made you interpret it in such a way. And I feel like this is so irrelevant. Like, this is so irrelevant. Like, in the greater scheme of things, you have no idea, and you will have it because of the sunlight card, how enough you were, and all along how this was eternally and true, eternally true, and undeniable inner light, undeniable, like, it's like it's so obvious, that confidence that's like so pure, it's not going to be any more like it, you won't be able to hide it. You even might encounter situations where you must have, or you could have been like accustomed to some sort of ranking system in your mind, but when you will walk into the room, you will feel like this is no longer necessary, this is no longer in accordance with who you are, and everything will almost like equalize. Okay, like that's what I want. Uniqueness, the meaning in reverse, and nostalgia. I want to say socially speaking because my viewers do love that dimension. I too. This is like kind intimidation. Like this, I don't have any other words other than this one, but this is definitely kind of intimidation. So it's like the sheer amazement and the sheer like, for people it's going to be absurd. They will think that you were out to get them, but you will be able to say two or three words and the person is going to be put in place. And this will feel like it was made with best intention, and coming from your side, this will not feel like it's going to be an attack or a wounded ego. If anything, this will feel like, um, spilling the tea or spitting out the truth. I see a very unapologetic person, version of you that you maybe even not be, let's just say conceptually, you never thought that this is going to be you, or you never thought that being intimidating could actually stem from love and from kindness. So this is like that kind of afraid afraid of the person because they are very kind. I don't know, I don't think I encountered this. I encountered this. At least if I did encounter this fragmentally, but there is a sense in the air that, don't mess with them, and not being afraid to call things out. I love that for pile number three. And also, I don't see a filter. I see a situation where previously you were censoring yourself so much. You were so like closed off and careful that it almost like was robotic and people got used to it. And with nostalgia in here, there is going to be a lot of discomfort socially wise, uh, coming from or stemming from the idea that they liked the previous version that was much more comfortable and it was much more bearable to them, but also an overwhelming um feeling of, yeah, I knew this is going to happen. I knew this was going to happen. I knew that they would grow. I knew there is generally something about you that's constantly growing, that's constantly evolving, that's constantly reshaping, and you amaze people simply because they expect you to be stuck or they expect you to crumble under the responsibilities, I heard, to crumble under the stress, but if anything, every day feels like it's something new. And that's kind of scaring them because people don't understand what is the source of the power of this person, okay? I also see you being present in situations and feeling and looking at the person and feeling your impact on them. I feel like you are going to encounter situations where you're going to feel proud of yourself, you're going to feel worthy. If anything, also, worthiness was something that was either clouded or something that was obstructed from your view, but not any longer. That's how it feels. You will feel like not only you, I don't know, this is so random, I don't know. Maybe I hope this resonates with you because this is so random, it feels like somehow very strange, but it's what I see. but it's both like the feeling of ascending and accepting and receiving things and no longer feeling guilty. There are going to be people in here with worthiness or feeling worthy. I genuinely wanna ask pile number three. I wanted to say four. What is like, yeah, maybe don't say the source of the power. Maybe give people a hint, because this generally this feels like something that could be eye-opening for some people, or maybe it's like it's worthy of opening a thread or like something like a community post of sorts that would make people share their tactics and the things um, that they've done. Because for pile number three, this is like an up leveling of sorts, and yeah, there is a lot of accustomed energy, I will not lie, with your pile, in the sense that there is a set like a set of rules that's being imposed on people, and it's like, I preset that my impression of pile number three is going to be as follows: A, B, C, you know? And in your case, there is something similar to another pile that breaks that rule. And it makes people feel like they can no longer define you, but it also makes them feel like, you were very comfortable in the past and somehow you're no longer. So I don't know what's going on in here, and why are they changing? Why are they no longer accommodating us? Like, that's how strange this feels. There is a huge spike and surge of worth that's going to be reflected off of you as a result of all of this, and you will be in demand. I feel like you are almost like awakening from some sort of slumber where your contribution can no longer be there in the shadows, and it will make you feel overwhelmingly in demand. So you can expect communication from a lot of people, you can expect to be included in a lot of things, and generally a sense of popularity. Or it can be like, it's very convoluted. I cannot even say that it's necessarily popularity, but it's like the word of mouth, you're constantly being talked about and stuff like that. And everything is suspiciously pointing towards the idea that it's complementing your reputation. And to me, that's groundbreaking. That's like rule breaking in here. That's like happening for pile number three. What's unbelievable? It's there is like people. There are people afraid to think ill of you, or they love you so much that they don't want to experience any negative thoughts about you, and they really hold you on a pedestal. At least that's how I see it. There is a huge emotional dependence that's happening in the shadows or in the background when it comes to the relationship with you. And I also kind of heard that people say that you are somehow like, either they're a fan of you actually. Yeah, they feel like they are your fan, and they feel like they depend on you emotionally to be a mood booster of sorts. So this kind of peculiar, but yeah, it's like people want to believe the best out of you, like the best when it comes to you. And maybe this is also very similar to another pile where I felt like there is going to be situations and individual ones where people will reveal how dependent and how willing they are to bet it all and risk it all with you. When I say risk it all, it's like a situation where the person trusts you fully, or a person opens up, for example, or another really includes you everywhere and gives you some sort of access or privilege that would make other like really a long time they would have to earn that trust or that privilege over like an extended or very long time. And in your case, it feels like you have that for granted in like an instant or instantly in general. So I also heard genuinely or scarily positive and seeing through things like, people feel like they're transparent or you see through them. So the good news in here, it's like I cannot say that this is like a treasure that you will find, because this is not about a treasure hunt or something like this. It's something that you awaken in the awareness of, and you will realize that this light that you carry has always been, and you have always been that temple or that, vessel to carry that light with you, and that it has always been the greatest of things that has ever happened to you, and that your happiness is not reliant on exterior circumstances and rather is a state. Um, I believe this is a more important message than the good news thing that will here and there blossom out of the as a result of what I have just told you in here. So don't be surprised if you are up leveling, or if you had intentions with that kind of story I have just outlined, and you wake up in one morning feeling ecstatic or happy or universally full of life, full of joy. And don't be surprised if you're headed towards this, if you have set intentions that corresponds to this. And don't be surprised if you have worked on a relationship with God. Don't be surprised if you're uh, an adept at trying to constantly, find the ways to reflect and refine yourself in that, like love, kindness. This is something that, it's really showing some results for pile number 3, and it's going to come in various, let's just say, emotional ways. Thank you so much for watching pile number 3. That was a very chaotic reading, even though I tried to stick at least to the identification and validation. The unbelievable, the plot twist I didn't quite, let's just say, cover directly, but indirectly it just simply showed a lot of like information. So yeah, once again, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, comment below how this resonated for you if it did. um, if you want to donate, the links are going to be in the comment section and the description section. Also, subscribe if you're not already, and make sure to check out the other videos on the channel, because I have many more that are very similar to this one and maybe will help you in other ways that I do not know of. Thank you once again for watching, and I hope to hear from you in the future readings. Take care.